The internet's favorite pop princess just became its biggest villain, and honestly, the speed of this reputation flip is giving whiplash to anyone trying to keep up. Chappell Roan went from your favorite artist to public enemy number one, faster than you can say, "Good luck, babe." One minute she was the queer icon saving pop music, the next she's getting canceled harder than your Netflix subscription during finals week. So, what exactly happened? Because this downfall is messier than her signature glitter eyeshadow and twice as dramatic. Controversy 1. The fan encounter that started the avalanche. It all began when Chappell started calling out fans for crossing personal boundaries, approaching her family, showing up at her house, treating her like public property instead of a human being. Sounds reasonable, right? Wrong. The internet decided that speaking up about stalker behavior was somehow ungrateful and diva-like, because apparently when you become famous, you're supposed to surrender your right to personal space along with your privacy. That's like saying winning the lottery means strangers can walk into your house uninvited. But if you think boundary setting was controversial, wait until you hear about the political stance that made everyone lose their minds. Controversy 2. The election comments that broke the internet. Chappell had the audacity to say she wasn't endorsing any presidential candidate because both parties have issues. In 2024, during the most polarized election in history, the collective meltdown was immediate and spectacular. Suddenly, everyone became a political strategist, explaining why her nuanced take was actually dangerous and irresponsible. It's like she committed the cardinal sin of having a complex opinion in an era that demands you pick a side and never question it. Speaking of picking sides, her comments about drag culture were about to add gasoline to an already raging fire. Controversy 3. The drag commentary that missed the mark. Chappell made some comments about drag culture and appropriation that landed about as well as a lead balloon at a birthday party. The drag community, who had largely embraced her aesthetic, felt like she was gatekeeping a culture she had borrowed from. Meanwhile, her fans were confused about whether they should defend her or join the pile-on. It became a masterclass in how good intentions can create bad optics when you're not careful with your words. But the real drama was just getting started, because her festival behavior was about to become prime meme material. Controversy 4. The festival meltdowns that went viral. Multiple festival performances turned into public breakdowns where Chappell would stop mid-song to lecture audiences about behavior, boundaries, and respect. While her points were valid, the delivery felt more like a therapy session than a concert experience. Fans paying hundreds of dollars to hear Pink Pony Club weren't expecting a dissertation on personal space. It's like ordering a pizza and getting a lecture about Italian culinary history instead. And speaking of lectures, her social media presence was becoming increasingly preachy in ways that were turning off her core audience. Controversy 5. The social media sermons that felt out of touch. Chappell's Instagram became less about music updates and more about lengthy educational posts about social justice, fan behavior, and industry problems. While the messages were important, the tone felt condescending to the same fans who had supported her from day one. It's the difference between being an advocate and being a substitute teacher nobody asked for. Sometimes the messenger matters more than the message. But the real turning point came when other artists started distancing themselves from her increasingly vocal positions. Controversy 6. The industry isolation that made everything worse. As Chappell became more outspoken, industry peers started quietly distancing themselves from her more controversial takes. Collaborations dried up, festival bookings became scarce, and suddenly the same industry that had embraced her was treating her like she had the musical equivalent of cooties. In pop music, isolation is death, and Chappell was becoming an island in an ocean of former allies. Speaking of former allies, her own fan base was starting to fracture in ways that were genuinely heartbreaking to watch. Controversy. 7. The fan base civil war that nobody won. The Chappell Roan fandom split faster than a cheap pair of jeans. Die-hard supporters defended every controversial statement, while former fans felt betrayed by what they saw as hypocrisy and privilege. Comment sections became battlegrounds. Fan accounts turned into debate clubs, and the community that had once bonded over glittery pop anthems was now fighting over political purity tests. It was like watching a family dinner turn into a political debate, uncomfortable for everyone involved. But the most damaging controversy was yet to come, and it involved accusations that cut to the core of her artistic integrity. Controversy number 8, the authenticity. Questions that hit. Different critics started questioning whether Chappell's entire persona was calculated performance art rather than genuine self-expression. The drag-inspired looks, the queer advocacy, the Midwest girl aesthetic. Suddenly everything felt manufactured for maximum social media impact. Whether fair or not, these authenticity questions hit harder than any other criticism because they attacked the very foundation of her artistic identity. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, the industry backlash started affecting her actual career opportunities. Controversy number 9, the career consequences that made it real. Record label meetings got awkward, brand partnerships dried up, and radio stations started quietly rotating her songs out of heavy rotation. The entertainment industry doesn't like controversy unless it's profitable, and Chappell's brand of activism was becoming more liability than asset. In an industry built on image management, she had become unmanageable, and that's career suicide in slow motion. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn that nobody saw coming. Controversy number 10, the double standard that exposed everything male artists have said and done far worse things with minimal consequences. But Chappell's relatively mild controversies were treated like capital crimes. The same industry that forgives male stars for actual illegal behavior couldn't handle a young woman having opinions about politics and boundaries. The backlash revealed more about society's comfort with outspoken women than it did about Chappell's actual transgressions. Here's the thing about Chappell Roan's downfall. It wasn't really about her specific controversies. It was about the impossible standards we place on young female artists, especially queer ones who dare to have opinions beyond their music. We built her up as a perfect pop savior, then got angry when she turned out to be a complex human being with flaws and opinions. The real tragedy isn't that Chappell Roan fell from grace. It's that we expected her to be everything to everyone while remaining nothing to herself. She tried to maintain artistic integrity in an industry that rewards compliance, and we punished her for it. Maybe the question isn't, why is everyone turning on Chappell Roan? But why do we keep doing this to young artists? If this breakdown of celebrity culture's toxic cycles opened your eyes to how we treat artists, hit that subscribe button because we're diving deep into more cases where the internet's love turned to hate overnight. What artist's downfall do you think we should analyze next? Drop your suggestions in the comments, and let's keep examining the double standards that shape our entertainment industry.